Balaji Viswanathan.
Hey, you gotta get up in front of the camera.
Camera, no one's saying about the camera. So I'll introduce Balaji Viswanathan, who I think you all know. Balaji has worked in our department, planning, design, and construction, since about last April, and he's been very instrumental in developing this new application that he's going to show and he's using for his project. And so I'll pinch hit and help if you need as you present it, but it's a great application and Balaji's done excellent work, and so thank you very much. And I'll let you take it from here.
Hi everyone, good evening. Thanks Grant for the introduction. I'm Balaji Viswanathan. I'll be talking about the Master's project, Campus 360 and Enterprise Responsive Web GIS application for the University of Arizona. This application was developed as a part of the initiative from the Enterprise GIS team at the Department of Planning, Design and Construction. And this project is mainly going to focus about what my contributions are to this particular application development. So far we have seen applications which has a GIS analysis part of it, and this particular project is mainly more focused on the technology part of the GIS and how we can bring GIS to the online community. So the main goal of this particular application is how we're going to bring GIS to the user community on campus, and how we're going to design one application that will work seamlessly across multiple devices, smartphones, tablets and desktops. And you can see on why this particular objective was taken. The main reason is 5 years back when we chose web, this was the just assumption what every web developers had. It is just the desktop which is being considered as a web platform. But due to the evolution of smartphones and tablets, you can see that this is actually the web, and web gives you a broader audience where people are accessing it from their mobile, tablets and everything. And you could see on how this web is going to evolve, mainly with the addition of smart glasses, smart watches. So everything is going to be web, and you wanted an application which can work seamlessly across multiple devices. So this is actually a team application which has been built by the Enterprise GIS team, and I'm going to concentrate on these are the major topics which I'm going to mainly focus on. Why web and not a native platform, and what all web platforms are available for the development, and how the architecture has been designed for extendability and for the easier maintenance, and what all user interface components which were designed, and why user interface was main important of our focus in designing this application, and different development phases, and what all GIS functionalities that has been implemented in the application, and what is going to be implemented in future as well. So why web? Web gives you one particular biggest advantage is you can develop one particular application which will work on multiple devices, because all the smart devices has the ability to view or the render your applications which has been developed using HTML5 and JavaScript. And the next one is it's all browser based. So browser is something which is available natively on all smart devices, not just on the desktop. And that gave us an advantage of choosing a web compared to the native platform. And once you chose web, so these are the different options which S3 provided for all the developers. Silverlight API, Flex API and JavaScript API. Silverlight and Flex both are actually plugin based, so you have to install one kind of a plugin on top of the browser to run your application. And that became a disadvantage because not all the smartphones like iOS and Android does not have support for Silverlight or Flex, because you have to install a different plugin, and that became the advantage for the JavaScript, because JavaScript does not have any kind of plugin which needs to be installed, and you can have one application. And with HTML5 coming into picture, JavaScript is becoming more and more popular for the web development. And so from now on you will be seeing on how we develop the application with HTML5, CSS3 and JavaScript. So this is the architecture of the application, and the architecture is a little complex with beta services and everything, but I did not focus much on that particular beta GIS part. So all the data which has been updated by the Enterprise GIS team residing on the spatial database engine which is connected to Oracle database. And once these data updates are done, so these data are then converted to file geodatabase format in a WebMarketer auxiliary sphere. The main reason is to match up with the S3's base map. and the map documents and the cartographies are designed using these data sets. And once you have the map documents which are designed accessing all these data, they are then published to ArcGIS server as different types of services, mainly tile map services, dynamic map services, geoprocessing service. Printing is one kind of a geoprocessing service, and you will have a geometry service which is out of the box from Esri's ArcGIS server. And once these services are published, how are we going to access all these data? All these communication happens in the term of REST, which stands for Representational State Transfer. It's a protocol for accessing all the GIS datasets in the web. So since we have seen all these disadvantages with Silverlight and Flex, the application was designed using ArcGIS JavaScript API, and that has the ability to consume all the REST services from the ArcGIS server, and that is how the data is being accessible to the outside network. And once JavaScript API, it is all HTML5 based application, and this application you need to have a web server to host all these applications. So this is all hosted at the Department of Planning, Design and Construction, and finally you will have only one URL which you can access it in all the browsers, which is available in all the smart devices. And the UI design has been a major focus in the development. The main reason is it is not just the web development on the desktop, it is on touch devices as well. Because touch devices you have to see more about on how good the user interface controls can be designed for users to touch it and for the ease of use as well. So for that, the jQuery mobile API has been chosen as a platform. The main reason is because it's widely used and they have a very good user community for supporting, and it's all open source and it's all based on jQuery, which is again a popular JavaScript open source library. And the development, this actually involved a team of 4 people who are developing on the same application at the same time, and it's always necessary to have a code management system so that you do not have any conflicts between when you're editing the same code base file between 2 different developers. So in that case, Subversion is being used. It's a GitHub repository kind of code management system, and Tortoise SVN client is being used for accessing all these, communicating with all these data and the code bases. And how so far we have seen what all GIS, what all the application and what all platforms has been chosen for the application development, and now you will be seeing what all GIS functionalities has been embedded into this particular application. And these are the major tools which are the layers and table of contents. You will have a legend to see what all layers which are turned on, and you will be able to search anything on campus. For now the basic search has been enabled, and you will be able to do a query which is similar to what you do in the ArcGIS desktop. So it's actually bringing your desktop environment to the web, and you can do anything anywhere on your device. And there are so many tools where you can, these are the tools which are mainly designed for communicating with the Enterprise GIS team. Feedback and the measure tool, you can measure different kinds of geometries, and I think you will have a more detail of what this is actually when I go for the demo session. Layers to analyze, so you will be able to see a table of contents which are broadly categorized depending on what category it is, and there are so many layers under that. So the one part which I worked in it, which I wanted to share it, is the real-time cat trend routing. So the Department of Planning, Parking and Transportation Services has implemented a real-time cat trend routing. So you will have GPS installed on all the cat trend shuttles, and you will be able to see the real-time cat trend routes and where the shuttle is actually on your device anytime, anywhere. So this is actually the advantage of bringing all the GIS functionalities to the web. And you can search anything on campus. The basic search is performed on buildings, parking lots, on predefined set of layers, and you will be able to perform a search. And once search is done, you will be able to get a results in a list view, which has a small information of what that particular feature is, and you will be able to get a more information of it if you are interested. And then you will have a query tool. Query tool is more about people who are interested in GIS. Say for example, I wanted to see all the parking lots whose area is greater than 7,000 square feet. So you can do it in this particular application, and this is accessible in your tablet or mobile phone or on your desktop. And say for example, if there is any restaurant which has been added on campus, and if you find anything which is where the map has to be updated or the application is having any issues, you can contact the Enterprise GIS team at the planning, design and construction by writing us a small feedback here. You can say that, okay, a new restaurant has been added, and you can say that to us. So what this does is, it takes all your inputs and then it saves all these things in as a Python script at the server-side scripting. It saves all these things in a web server and finally sends us an email to the Enterprise GIS team for us to look at and work on this particular feedback. And you will be able to measure different kinds of geometries with different units, and all these things are done using S3's geoprocessing geometry service, which is available out of the box with ArcGIS server. And printing, I'm sure everybody likes to have a print hard copy of the map when you go for a meeting or when you wanted to know what is happening exactly on campus. So you will be provided with different layout options to choose what kind of a print layout you wanted, and all these things are performed using a printing service which is hosted on ArcGIS server. And proxy is mainly used for accessing, and one more advantage of this application is you can log in using your net ID and password, so you don't need any kind of register mechanism to log in. So it's all net ID and password based. So once you log in, proxy generates an automatic token for you, validates your credentials and gives access to your secured services. And this proxy is also being used for all your geoprocessing services like printing, because it tries to access a cross-domain resource. And let me do a quick demo of the application. So this is the application which you will be seeing when you first load the application on any browser, on any device. So, and once you choose this, this has a basic tools like zoom in or zoom out, and you can hard refresh, and you can clear all the contents, all the graphics on the map. And main thing I wanted to tell you about is like the table of contents has different layers which are being categorized into different categories. You will be able to turn them off. And one, the CATRAN routing, and today, due to that day, the CATRAN shuttles are not running, so you will not be able to see the real-time CATRAN feed, but once they are up and running, you will be able to see the real-time feed on your device. And once you turn on these layers, you can see a legend which shows up what these legends points to. And these uses a jQuery mobile panel, so where you will be able to go back and forth, and you will be able to see multiple layers here. And the next thing which I wanted to, let me clear off all the contents here. And then I can make a search on campus. Say for example, I make a search on main. So it gives me all the search results which are not exactly main, but anywhere where it shows up there is a main keyword in it. So you will be able to collapse this or expand this, and these basic search is actually done on buildings, parking lots, outdoor destinations and UA sites statewide. And you give a basic information of it. And once you click on it, it goes and zooms to that particular feature with an additional information of that particular feature. And you will be able to zoom, go back and forth with these panels, and these are designed using jQuery mobile. And let me clear off all these contents and then go on to the query tool. Say for example, I wanted to see all the parking lots which are zone 1 parking lots. So what I can do is I can just make write a query here, name equals zone 1, and then hit on query. So you get all these results in a form of a table, which what you get in ArcMap as well. And these features, you can click on each of these features to zoom to that particular feature where it tells you what that particular feature is about. And you also provided with an option where you can download this particular feature as a CSV file to your desktop. So it's all, you don't need any kind of desktops, ArcGIS desktop or data to do that. It's all becoming web-based applications. And then I can go into, I can clear all these graphics here, and then I can go into the tool section of this. So the first tool is the feedback tool. This is more about for communicating with the Enterprise GIS team at the planning, design and construction. And then you can have a small description of this issue, what you're seeing in the map, and then write it to us. It uses server-side scripting to save all these contents and sends as an email to us. And you can use measure tool to view different geometries on campus, and you will be able to see what is the exact location, and you will be provided with different units here to see what exactly you can, and this in the backend it uses ArcGIS geometry service to perform this calculations, and it's all real time, and you can do it anytime on your device. And you can do a printing, and printing is you can choose your layout whatever you wanted to, and you can have a custom style, or this is something which is being still worked on, and the application is will give you a print output where you can use it for printing, and you can have a layout, or you can even this actually uses an ArcGIS printing service, which is actually a type of a geoprocessing service at the back end. And I can log in. Let me quickly show about. So this is the way the info windows are designed. So once you click on any feature, it shows up an info window, and then when I log in into this particular application, I can log in using the net ID and password. And once I log in, this uses a proxy at the backend to authenticate my username and password. And once this is done, it changes my base layer from campus tiles to an enterprise tiles. And then now if you click on this particular feature, you will be able to get more detailed information about each of these pop-ups. So you will have, the pop-ups will be designed for a specific set of user groups, and you will also have an identify tool which becomes active only when you log in. And then once you click on this, it shows up all these results in a kind of a table on the left panel. So this is a quick demo of the application, and here are the future enhancements which the team is considering on building it. And this is still the application is launched in a beta phase, and the application is still being worked on to improve and add more tools for user groups, and also to make it so responsive so that it does not have any issues working on mobiles or tablets. And the application can be accessed using this URL, and you can access this particular URL on any smart device which has a browser installed. So, and I would like to take this time to thank the Enterprise GIS team, Grant, Matt, Toby, Drennan, Randy, and Craig, for giving me an opportunity to work on this particular application. It's been an excellent experience working with this particular team, and this particular application is going to be used so much in the user community. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
When are you going to get rid of the main map on the Arizona.edu page?
Well, the place is ready.
Is it?
We got a read today that I think that the decision making may be getting close to actually pulling the switch and making that happen. Maybe first update. Have to be open.
Yep.
You mentioned that you could track the cat trends.
Yep.
Do you
Yep.
think that when the Tucson trolley comes out, you could apply it to that as well?
That's actually dependent on the CATRAN routes was actually available only from this fall. What the Department of Planning, Parking and Transportation Services, they used the third-party libraries which is called Transloc, and they have installed all the GPS on all the CATRAN shuttles. So that's something which we need to see if they will be doing it even for the Suntran, because I think Suntran comes under the Tucson government. So if they are able to implement that, we will be able to keep track of that information as well, and we will be able to pull that information, because it's all available once the GPS is installed, and once you get all the API available, it's all JavaScript where you can communicate and ping every time. So this CATRAN shuttle uses, like, every 1 second it'll send a request to their server, and it'll see where the exact shuttle is, and it'll actually show you the exact routing. So that's something which we'll be able to implement if Suntran is planning to have it with the Transloc API. So if you have the GPS installed, we'll be able to tap into their information. Yeah.
Would
Yep.
you actually be able to see it moving, or do you
Yep.
have to refresh it?
No. So what we have done is, these actually, the CATRAN shuttles are actually placed as markers, which are called as graphics in the JavaScript API. So what we have done is, like, every time whenever the CATRAN shuttle, you can send a request to that particular server, and once you send a request, you get a response which is in the form of a JSON, and in the JSON you can easily interpret what is the latitude and longitude of it, and what the application does is, I clear all the graphics which are previously there. So I say, for example, if there is one particular graphic on this particular location, and next request sends after 1 second, and I'll clear off this graphic and I'll place another graphic. So you don't need to refresh the application to see what is the exact way the route is. So I'm not able to show it because the CATRAN is not available today because of dead day. Maybe tomorrow morning, if you are able to see it from 9 to 6, you should be able to see all the CATRAN shuttles where you can, what direction it is moving, and you don't need to refresh the application. It's all done at the back end, where the request is being sent 1 second and you clear off the previous graphic and add a new graphic to it. Yep.
If a mobile user
Yep.
was looking at the map on their phone, would you have the capability to ping where their location is and route them to a specific building on campus?
That's actually, we will be able to do that, but only thing is, because of a web platform, you do not have so much of access of a native, as compared to a native apps. Because native apps can tap into your GPS, which is there on your device, and say where your exact location is. And because if it is a web application, so the maximum information we would be able to get at is where you are exactly located, maybe in Tucson or around Yoffie. So we would not be able to get the exact information of a particular user. So that's something which HTML5 is something which is where research is being performed to see if they can get an exact information on the web using an HTML5, because HTML5 has the ability to tap into their device. Not exactly the device, but you can get the geolocation. So geolocation API is available with the HTML5. So that's something which the team might be able to look into it if the HTML5 feature gives the native access as well. And then we will be able to route accordingly. Because routing is something which depends on ArcGIS server, but getting the exact location of the user is something that depends on native apps versus web apps. So native apps gives you more, an advantage of the native apps is you can access anything on your device, like camera, or you wanted to have an accelerometer, or you wanted to tap into their GPS. So everything is possible. But web apps does not have that particular functionalities.
Thank you, Balaji.